Hello everyone, my name is John, and if you're watching this, thank you. Today is episode 1 of my poker vlog that I'm going to be doing to keep myself consistent and kind of just track my journey and my progress as a poker player. I've played online for several years, do the micro stakes, done decently well. Now I'm going to try my hand. Yeah, I got jokes. Try my hand at 1-2, 1-3. This casino I'm going to tonight is 1-3. So I'll probably just go out, come back with a few tough spots or big pots, and then we can review them together. I don't know what my long-term goals are quite yet for this channel. I'll probably get a bit better with the editing. It's probably going to be bad at first, just while I get the hang of things and see if I can actually do this without blowing my entire bankroll first. But yeah, I'm going out tonight. I got my fanny pack, which gives me some not so nice looks from some of the older gentlemen at the casino. Got my headphones so I can be socially awkward. And I got my water because they only give out like 2 small waters like every hour, so my lips are so chapped every time I go. But yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think of my play, of my channel, or yeah.
Seems like I got the double back on the landmine. No tags on my black polo full neckline. Spent a lot of dough, no small conversation.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It is currently 2:18 p.m. I just got home. I played for roughly 4 hours, not that long. I had a prior conflict, so I had to get there a little late, but 4 hours of good play. Had a fun table, a couple guys talked to, and I had an awesome session. I lost like a roughly $180 to $875. So obviously losing sucks, but I'm still up net, which doesn't really matter. I don't really want to be results oriented, but I did go just for cope. I did go for 2 sessions before this, and I am still up a little bit after those 2 sessions. But I think what I'm happy about is that I was very card dead. I lost some big flips, and I still only managed to lose a little bit. And more importantly, I noted like 4 or 5 hands where I think for each one I could have done something a little bit differently or a little bit better. And I identified a big leak of mine that is new to me because it's live poker, which this leak didn't exist in online poker, which I will talk about later. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I just listened to, shout out Matt and Shane, secret podcast. Shit's awesome. But now I'm sleepy, so I'm gonna go to bed, and I will review the hands now. All right, welcome everybody. This is the hand review session. This is my little table that I've put together with my rubber duck card covers. I actually just did like 4 or 5 of these and then realized that my microphone was off. So starting back off from hand number 1, that's awesome. No worries. Sat down, first session here at Hollywood. There were definitely not a lot of regs at my table this first session. A lot of for fun players, a lot of limping being done, a lot of joking around, a lot of drinking. So that's good. That's always good to walk into. But so we start off our first hand with a cutoff limp. That's 1-3 for you. If everything that I've ever read or watched says that limping is horrible, don't do it. But it just happens so much at the 1-3 tables. Even players that I've perceived as good do occasionally limp, so maybe there is a little bit of strategy and a right time to do it. If you know that strategy, feel free to drop it in the comments, drop some wisdom with our peers. But I've heard it's bad. I'm pretty sure it's bad. I'm pretty sure you should just always be raising or at least calling, just not open limping. Don't see what benefits it gives you unless you're like super early position with a marginal hand, like pocket 5s or something like that. But I digress. So the cutoff limps, the small blind calls, and I'm in the button. with the King of Hearts and the Three of Hearts. So definitely not raising this hand. I could isolate, but I don't think it's worth it because it would be a bluff, and there's only $7 in the pot. Or, yeah, $7. Oh, $9 in the pot. Sorry, I can't do math. So it's a $10 pot, but don't see the point in raising this and playing a flop out of position. But yeah, so I call, and the flop comes King of Hearts, Queen of Clubs, and the Ten of Hearts. So we pick up a flush draw. Not much else to that. The small blind starts it off with a check, and I could have bet here, I suppose, but I chose to just check as well. Didn't want to get maybe raised or something by two pair, but I don't know, let me know. I think a check here is okay. The cutoff also checks, so we go straight to a turn of the Nine of Spades. And here the small blind checks again, and at this point I'm like, okay, I'm not winning this hand with 6 high. And even if I do hit that last heart, the pot is $10, so we're gonna want to win a little bit more from a made flush. So I decided to bet out pot, just trying to float the size a little bit, and the cutoff actually calls. The small blind folds, so now we're at a pot around $30, and we head to a river, which is the Queen of Hearts. So we make our flush, and I know the board is paired, but I don't imagine anyone having hands like kings, tens, pocket nines, maybe a queen 9, maybe a queen 10, but I feel like those hands would have done some raising or some betting on previous streets. So I'm feeling pretty good here about my flush, and if they have a higher flush, so be it. But I first act bet out $25, so just under pot, and he thinks about it for like 20-30 seconds and then throws in a call. And we actually get shown Jack 10 offsuit by our opponent, so he hit the straight on the turn, and he had bottom pair with an open ender on the flop, so I don't know why he didn't take the lead at all. Again, bunch of, I believe, recreational opponents, but I think maybe he could have raised the turn and put me in some pressure, and then I wouldn't have felt as good about my flush on the river. But yeah, I feel like this was a good way to start. He said nice bet, nice hand, good guy. So we take down a decent sized pot here with a small flush, and feeling good to start the session. Up around like $50-$60. Sweet. Alright. Next hand. This was about maybe an hour later, still up a little bit, feeling good. You know, it always feels good to be up, especially when you're doing a bankroll challenge. So this hand starts off with the hijack raising a 10. Now, a little background, this hijack player was an older gentleman, and he was definitely a for-fun player. He was talking about how he wants to give away his money, he was drinking, he was going all in, not for a lot. He would go all in with like a bad draw or a horrible hand, lose everything, and then buy back in for 100 and do it again. So he was having a good time. I liked him. But he raises up to 10, which instantly is making me think he saw an ace, because he was doing a lot of limping before that. And the cutoff calls, and I wake up in the small blind with the Jack of Clubs and the Jack of Spades. So pocket jacks, don't love this hand, but I gotta raise it up. So I raise it up to $40, which I think's a little big. It is a 3-bet, and there's 2 players behind, but it doesn't really matter because the hijack reshoves right after that for 85 total, which at the time I didn't feel great about in my gut because I knew he had an ace, so I knew I was just flipping. I just didn't know if he had ace king, ace queen, hands like that. So I knew it was going to be a coin flip no matter what. I didn't think he had like aces or something, which he could have, but I didn't see it. Just with like how he'd been playing. I knew his range was pretty loose. So we sigh and maybe I should have been excited, honestly, to get the money in here, but I sighed in the moment and put in the remaining $45 for this, what is that, $180 pot, roughly. And doesn't really matter what the flop is, because all that matters is that a big fat ace of diamonds comes up on the flop. So I knew right away, I was like, okay, this hand's lost. He turn and the river come, don't even remember what they are, didn't note it down, but he has to recheck his hand. He forgot what he had, and it was ace 7 suited. So yeah, he was giving his money to everyone but me. I had to lose this one, which stung a little bit, but I didn't make like a big mistake, so it was just a variance thing. So you can't be too upset about these kind of things, and he was having a good time. So now we're down a bit, but we move on. Alright, on to the next one. We move on, and the very next hand, we actually pick up a pretty good hand. The early position player limps. The hijack player calls, and we wake up on the button with pocket tens. So loose pocket jacks. Let's see if we can turn it around with pocket tens. I raise it up to 20. The small blind calls, early position calls, and the hijack calls. So we go to the flop with a pretty big pot already, $80. And I actually think I misplayed this hand a little bit, so let me know in the comments what you think after we finish it. So the flop comes the 4 of clubs, the 5 of spades, and the 7 of hearts. And it checks around to me. And here, I'm thinking in my head, I don't think anyone has 6-8. I don't think anyone has 6-3. Maybe 4-5. Maybe pocket 4s, 5s, 7s. Those are the hands that beat me. Other than that, I could get some calls from maybe a naked 6, a naked 8, maybe hands like ace 3, ace 2. And I also just think there's a lot of garbage in there, like jack 8, king jack, queen 10, things like that I can get to fold right now. So I size up a little bit in a 4-way pot, and I bet $40, half pot. The small blind calls, and the early position player and the hijack fold. So the pot is now roughly $160, and we go to a turn, which is the king of clubs. And that is pretty good for my range, but it also is good for a float range from my opponent. I don't know what you call $20 with in the small blind. Maybe some pocket pairs or stuff like that. So my thinking here is if I bet big, which is, spoiler alert, what I do, I'm only gonna really get called by better, which is why I think I made a mistake here. But the small blind had roughly $100 left. So I just put him all in, thinking maybe he's on some sort of draw, or maybe a worse pocket pair. But in looking back on this hand, I think this might have been a bit of an overplay. I mean, he only has $100 left, so I think the money was getting all in no matter what. But let me know what you think on this one, or how you would have played it differently. Maybe a check on the flop, maybe a check on the turn. But yeah, the river came the 6 of clubs. Oh no, the river came the 6 of spades, and I remember thinking, okay, I lose. This guy probably just hit it straight, or some better hand, some 2-pair, or something like that. But he actually proudly flips over 6-3 suited. So he actually had us dead, not dead, but drawing incredibly thin, and then dead on the turn, on the flop. So yeah, we lose a very, very, very big pot. It was $360 after the all-in. So, that one was tough. I mean, we should be happy in the future if people are calling us for $20 with 3-6 suited. Like, we should just be, like, long term. That's very good. But in moments like these, you want to get upset or angry. But I remember not actually getting upset or angry, which is weird. I just kind of got a little sad and... Wait, that is upset. I remember just thinking, on to the next one, like, if I got players doing this, there's definitely money to be made. So, yeah. That one sucked. We were down at probably a little bit over, like, $200, maybe even $300 at that point. I don't have the exact number, but not looking good, not feeling good after that one. So, but stay tuned. Might change. Alright, for our second to last hand, this is actually probably my favorite hand of the session, just because there was so much nuance to it. And I also think room for improvement on a big leak of mine. So we start off with a hijack, limp, and a cutoff, button, big blind, and small blind call. And we are in the big blind with Queen 10 of diamonds. Now just right off rip here, I think I could have raised this up to something bigger, but again, out of position. I'm probably going to get at least 3 callers, maybe 4, so just out of position 5 four-ways with Queen 10. I know it's good, but I mean, this is one of those spots that go either way, but I definitely think I could have raised here, just to start it off. But the flop comes the 5 of clubs, the 6 of clubs, and the Queen of hearts. So we get top pair. And the hijack, oh no, sorry, the hijack checks, small blind and button check, or big blind check, and the cutoff bets out 10. And this is why this hand is so interesting, because this cutoff was a woman who just came to the table, and she very clearly and openly did not know how to play poker. She was asking in hands beforehand, like, what her options were in terms of when there was a bet facing her. She didn't know if she could call or raise or just fold. Like, she clearly did not play poker, but people at the casino knew her. And the guy to my left specifically was calling her Baccarat because she was a big Baccarat player. So just keep that in mind for later. So she bets out 10, button and small blind fold, and I call. And now we go to, and hijack also folds. So we go to the turn, which is the 5 of spades. And she goes out and bets again. So let me just update the pot. 15, roughly $35. And she bets out again for $25. So here I'm thinking, okay, she has a queen in her hand. She has to. I don't know how good of a queen, but I definitely think she could have. Maybe she is a 5. Maybe she is 5-6. She was playing some pretty crazy hands, but definitely very loose. But I mean, I figured she just had a queen. I was worried about my kicker, which in hindsight I really shouldn't have been, but I was worried about my kicker. There's a reoccurring theme that you guys will see. I'm a very scared player, and that I will talk and address that more later, and maybe even a later video. But I am a scared player. I don't right now have the confidence to make big moves or be the aggressive player, menace, shark, whatever that I want to be. So I think part of that is just being new to live, and also my bankroll not being the biggest, so I know it's something I definitely need to work on. But she bets out 25, and I decide to call. So the pot is $85 now, and we go to a river, which is the 7 of spades. And I check one more time, and she bets out $75. And in my head I was thinking, okay, this woman doesn't really know how to play poker. She probably just has a queen. Maybe she got here with a 5, but I look up and she's gripping her cards, and she's got this smile on her face, and she's looking at me, and she looked so ready to flip over her cards. Like she looked like she couldn't wait for me to call. And in the moment, I kind of just psyched myself out, and I was like, oh, my kicker's probably not good, or she has a weird hand and she has a 5 somehow, or maybe she even got a straight somehow. Just all these monsters under the bed that don't exist, that I'm just freaking out in my head, when really this is just, I think, the easiest call in the world. And I lay it down and I fold it because of the big sizing, because of, I think, a person who doesn't know poker only bet when they have a good hand. And she doesn't show, so I felt pretty bad about this one. I felt pretty good about this one, actually, right after it happened. I was like, oh, I think I laid down a good one. But then we kept talking, and then a few hands go by, and she goes all in with pocket 4s, and the guy to my left is like telling me about her, and he's like, oh, and then she goes, yeah, I just lost like $4,000 in baccarat, and so I just came over and played some poker. And yeah, the guy to my left's like, yeah, she plays like $500 hand, baccarat hands, like one after another. And at that point I was like, I should not have folded. Like, this woman is a gambler at heart. The guy to her right, way later in the night, was like, yeah, she didn't have anything, she was showing me her cards, but he was like, I think, not being 100, I mean, maybe he was telling the truth, but he didn't exactly know what was going on in the hand. So, like, he was telling me, oh, the hand that you were betting into her, when really I was just calling. So I was like, is he even remembering the right hand? And maybe she showed him a 5, and he was like, oh, so she had nothing. But he was telling me that she had nothing in that hand. And I think he was right, whether or not he was trying to be. I think he was right. I think a call here would have been a much better play for me, and I would have won a big pot, and I would have shut this lady down from her bluffing. But I mean, 3 streets with a 10 kicker on a paired board. Yeah, this might be unexcusable. This might be an unexcusable fold by me. But that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to identify the leaks and the problems and the mistakes that I'm making along this path. And it's cool because, unlike online poker, there's these little nuances between each hand because of the player you're playing against. Like, you're actually looking at a human being who talks, who has stories, who laughs, like, not just online when it's a username and a picture. Like, you are sitting across from a real human with emotions that you can pick up on, and I just think I made the wrong read. I'm a naturally socially awkward person, so I'm not great at reading body language, and it clearly came up to bite me here, because I think I made a mistake. But, moving on, on to the next one. Alright, for our final hand, at this point in the night, I've been there for like 4, maybe 5 hours. I'm down a little over $300, not feeling great. I thought I was playing okay. I was very, very, very card dead. Like I just said, this is hour 5, and I only have like 2, 3 notable hands, both of which I doubled up a player. But I was getting a lot of junk, and I was getting a little bit agitated, but not that agitated. I just kind of wanted to go home. And this hand's pretty beautiful because the guy to my right kept telling me there are 3 things to being a good poker player: skill, luck, and patience. And I did not have skill or patience in this hand, but I got my butt saved by some luck. So there's always that third thing to fall back on if by any chance you end up punting, like I kind of do in this hand. But also with this hand, I don't really remember the positions, which I apologize for. I'm very new to the live poker scene. I get overwhelmed when hands happen, and I'm thinking about so many different things, and sometimes I forget the pots, the bet sizes, or the flop, and sometimes I forget to take notes altogether, and they don't like you being on your phone at the table. So sometimes I miss things here and there, but I will definitely work to be a better note taker so I can give you guys the most accurate information. What I do know is that it was the end of the night. There were 5 players at the table, and we got into a family pot with King 7 of diamonds. Maybe could have raised this one up. Again, I don't remember my position, which, sorry, that affects this, but family pot, King 7, suited, so we got a pot of 15 bucks. And we go to the flop of 10 of diamonds, 6 of clubs, and 9 of spades. So we have a backdoor diamond draw and a gut shot straight draw. And because of those things, I decide I'm going to be the big baller in this hand, and I'm going to start the betting. And I bet $10. And I get 3 callers, so no one believes me, no one really cares about what I have. But that's 55. And we go 4 ways. So I got 1 folder. At least I got 1 folder. But we go 4 ways to a turn, which is the 4 of clubs. So still relying on that gut shot. Lost my diamond draw, so I actually got worse. But I'm saying screw it. If I lose this hand, I'm going home, and I start doing a little angry punting, which very, very bad. Very, very bad. You have to keep composure in times like this. I'm definitely going to go on way worse losing streaks than just 300 bucks. So, this was bad by me, but I decided to bet $40 into 3 other players. And I get 1 guy to fold, and this guy folding was very, very important, but I did get him to fold, and you'll see why in a moment. I get 2 other callers, so 175 is the pot, big pot brewing, maybe even be a little bit bigger, but the river is actually the 8 of diamonds, so there's that luck coming in. Like I said, we make a straight, and now I believe the 2 people were before me, so they both checked, and this was the biggest leak that I identified in my game. I here, with the straight, decided to bet $100. And going back and reviewing this, I bet $100 because I was not accurately paying attention to the size of the pot. Obviously, I think I should have bet bigger, like 130, 150, something like that. However, online poker, been playing it for years, there's always a nice little bubble right in the center of the screen telling you how big the pot is. Everybody's stack sizes, everybody's everything. So you don't have to calculate it in real time. So my biggest thing that I want to work on moving forward is just locking in and paying attention to every single detail. How big people's stack sizes are, how much they have left behind, what's the size of the pot, people's bet sizes, how big is it in comparison to the pot, like just every single hand. Pay attention to those things and get the mental maths moving. Because so many times I find myself just counting $5 chips, just counting up the $5 chips in the middle of the pot, and there were too many in the middle to do this time, so I completely lost track of the pot. But I saw a big stack of reds in my pile, and I said, I'm just going to bet 100, which just isn't enough. It's just not enough for having a straight here. And I do get called by one guy who had 2 pair. I forget exactly which 2 pair, but he wanted to fold but didn't. And I got called, so bang, I won a big pot. Felt really good about this one. I was still down in the night, but this helped me recoup a lot of my losses, so that was good. And the guy, remember, going back a little bit, the guy on the turn who folded to the $40 bet, he started getting pissed and talking to himself and like yelling to himself, actually, basically like making fun of his play, because he folded Jack 7 offsuit on the turn. And It's not even a bad fold. Like, it's not a bad fold. He was also on a gut shot, but he was pissed because he was like, "You're betting like you have the nuts. Like, why are you doing that?" Like, he was making fun of my play. Like, he was not happy with me, and it's because I was punting. So maybe punting actually worked out. A little bit, maybe. I'm not sure, but it got him to fold, and if he had called that turn bet, I would have lost everything because he would have had the better straight, and I would have been screwed. So I'm checking my session right here, just real quick. I bought in for 600 and cashed out a 420 for 425. So I lost a little bit more than 100. Like I said, there's a lot of pots not here. Either just those small ones like raise 15, fold, which I think is also a leak. I need to stop calling as much. I need to raise more, be the aggressor. And then there might have been one or two more hands where I lost a decently sized pot just from like calling flop and then folding turn, but I didn't think they were noteworthy. So yeah, those were my 4 or 5 hands from the night. This hand kind of saved me, so that's good. And I hope you enjoyed. If there's any notes that you got from this or anything that you want to tell me in the comments, maybe how bad I am or how you've been in a similar spot before, or you faced something similar that happened to me. And yeah, tell me about it. Any hand you think, any spot you have some insight on, feel free, let me know. I'm always looking to learn from new people, and kind of that's a big reason I started this channel, just to have a bit of a community and have people who can talk to each other about hands and grow and learn from each other. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.